And hello everybody, welcome back to the Red October Network. Hope everybody is enjoying this nice weekend, Mother's Day 2012. Anyways, to get to the chase real quick, I noticed that there was a video or a news report that came out. Pretty much everybody, I guess, has seen this. Obviously, if you've found this video, you've searched for it, you know, there's a video that says there is a report that came out. It was by a government. It was a government-issued report that was done by the Associated Press, and that was that 1 out of 2 college graduates, recent college graduates, are either unemployed or underemployed, meaning that they are working at a job that doesn't require skills. Now, I know that there's a lot of discussion on this, and there's a few things that keep coming up, and there's a lot of things that just basically keep going. And I want to address a few of them because I've been reading all the articles, and basically there's all the same, schemes, all the same comments. College is a waste of time, and money, which for a lot of things it is, but I'll give you my standpoint on why I think perhaps there's a little bit more under there. So let me start out by saying, well, why do you go to college? Obviously, college does not teach you skills. Employers nowadays want a skill. Like the old 50s teachers, skill. Yeah, like turning a pipe or fixing a wire or something like that or whatever. Now, everybody says, well, college doesn't teach you skills. Well, college, for one thing, is very much a thinking person's job. And a lot of the things that you do in college, aren't really like, really hands-on kind of stuff. Especially a lot of times people go to school for psychology or art or English or something where there's not really much to go with in terms of just teaching you a skill for life. Now, at the same time, I do think that there is some things that college does teach you. College teaches you how to think. And I'm not talking about all the liberal mumbo-jumbo, teach liberalism and turning people into government cocoons and everything. That's not what it is. It teaches you how to organize material, how to write reports, how to think, how to produce material in a logical way. You can't get that a lot of places. Now, not all colleges and not all majors are created alike. Some colleges, like community colleges, for-profit colleges, frankly, the material that is produced there is not of as high quality. Now, they're saying, oh, but you should go to Ivy League and everything. And I went to Penn State. Now, despite all the things that have been said bad about Penn State, a lot of my friends have jobs, and those have jobs in the field, and those who do not have jobs in the field have jobs working somewhere. And I can tell you for a fact that even though I'm working retail right now, I can tell you that one of the reasons why I got my job is because I have a college degree. And I know this because a lot of the people who are working there in my job either went to college or are going. And so that's very important to think about. Because the one thing a college education relays to people is that you can start something and you will finish it. A lot of people do drop out of college, and that makes up the bulk of what you think about. People run out of money, people run out of time. The thing is with it is that if you keep your grades up, you should get through. Now, there's another problem that has popped up. If you go to you get a major like in something that really has no use in the job market, you kind of are going to college to learn something which is a hobby. Now, a hobby doesn't get you paid, and frankly, at the price college costs, it's not worth it nowadays, unless you're rich or you have connections or you're very lucky. However, there is a great deal of people who are going into science, technology, engineering, and mathematics backgrounds who are finding jobs. And that's what you go to college for. So that's one thing. And a lot of times, companies nowadays are having problems in bringing people on visas from overseas, from China and India and Japan, to fill those jobs because Americans can't do them. I do think, though, that there is a fundamental difference between the American student. We're always taught, this is a generation where we're taught that we're all special, we're all winners. And a lot of people come up and say, that this generation has had it so easy, they've been spoiled. Well, I gotta tell you something about this generation. We grew up during the dot-com boom. We came of age during the real estate boom. A lot of us really haven't been spoiled. You have to think about the fact that employers nowadays have this stigma against my generation, that we're all lazy, we don't bother, we can't move. Well, the problem with it is we don't have any savings. We have to work and do internships, whereas most labor was paid before. And we're in a technological world. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're all entitled to iPods and iPads and $2,000 video game systems and big screen TVs. We have to adapt, though. And that's the big thing that we have to talk about. Now, I do think that there is a great deal of exploitation of labor for young people in this country. I think a lot of times companies think that it's more appropriate to go and to basically say that you have to go to college. But whatever happened to on-the-job training? Where you went to school for 2 years, but then maybe you paid a company 2 years to train you in the field. I think that would be a wonderful idea. I think it would put a lot of colleges out of business, which would make people upset. But if you think about it, nowadays, in order to get a job, it doesn't matter what you know, it's who you know. And I had internships. Unfortunately, they weren't in my field. And that's why I'm working retail right now. But, there's some things, though, that don't necessarily hold true. One thing is, there's all this stuff about learning a trade and then you'll be making six figures automatically if you become an electrician or a plumber or something. And that's not necessarily true. The laws of supply and demand are there, and yes, there is a shortage, and yes, you can put your kids in vocational school, but if he or she is not very good at fixing stuff or interested in that stuff, it's probably better off that they don't go into that field. Because I can tell you that making money and having a good life are two different things. Too many people on like Yahoo and Huffington Post will tell how they say, I'm a master electrician, I'm making $200,000 a year, I bill the college graduates, the English majors with PhDs, $80 an hour to fix a pipe because they're too stupid. The problem is, one, that not every electrician and plumber makes $200,000. Most make $30,000 to $50,000. Two, what's also important to think about is that you have to get into the union. Here in Pittsburgh, it's very hard to become a plumber electrician and make those bucks unless you're in the union. You have to get the apprenticeship. And yes, I can move, but with whose money? The other thing is, too, that a lot of kids, I forgot my numbers, but 3, if you think about it, a lot of times these people, are owners of their own business, and they're really, really accomplished in their field. Most college graduates who are accomplished are making far more than the plumbers and electricians. And so that's a key thing. Now, the other thing is with it is that 4, who says making money is a key thing? That's a key thing, and that's one of the things that I think is wrong about it. Policemen don't make that much. Yet they save lives every day. Firemen don't make that much. But yeah, we will go and we will rank their jobs below them simply because they make less money than your local tradesman. I would suggest, though, that there should be a better system to go and not push everybody into trade school, but basically to go and find people who are good with their hands. Say the artist, the sculptor, they would be good being a contractor rather, or an electrician or a plumber or something like that, or a welder. And therein lies the problem. Now, to some extent, everybody has said join the military. Yeah, but the reason why the military is so great is because we have people who want to be in the military. I don't necessarily think people should lose their citizenship because they don't want to shoot a gun. That's a little extreme. What I do think, though, is that we should have some sort of initiative where if you go to college and you serve your country in a way, join the Peace Corps, join FEMA, join the National Weather Service or something like that, you should be allowed to receive some government assistance. I also think, too, that we should have a program to get college students into the system and to get them basically into a job. I don't necessarily think you have to go and say, well, we're going to give them loans, or we're going to feed off the government tit, or whatever you want to say. You have to get jobs to the young people. And yes, I wish I could I wish I could put a bumper sticker on my mom's Mercedes and say, "This is Ross Perot's giant sucking sound in action." That's not appropriate. I do think, though, that we have a lot of things that are really inappropriate. Science and technology, obviously this is our future in America. Unfortunately, a lot of it has been offshored, but it's eventually going to get to the point where we have to bring them back. And I think it's more of a lack of jobs, or a lack of qualified people. And the qualification of people is something that obviously is a key thing. Employers should be allowed, or should be enticed, by some external stimulus to go and hire new people. And everybody's complaining that's Obama. Enjoy your hope. I had one person who said, "I'm a tradesman. You voted for Obama. Enjoy your hope and change while you serve me my hamburger." If that's the attitude of the older people, you can kiss your Social Security bye-bye. Because we're going to vote for somebody that's going to give us the money. And that's important to think about. And there's a lot of, bullshit bingo points where, the underwater basket weavers and, the barista at Starbucks. Not necessarily true. College is good. Don't forget about it. You don't have to drink in college. You don't have to party in college. And there are those among us who don't do that. And you should give credit to them, because they are making use of the money that they're spending. And who cares if we don't make as much money as your local electrician or local plumber or local army vet? We're still contributing to society. We need to have an intelligent society, good with our hands, but also especially good with our brains. And that's something I think we are missing nowadays. Now, is the college bubble going to burst? Yeah. Are we all going to be out of luck if we spend $160,000? Yeah. Do I think Obama's at fault? No. I think I started under Bush. And Bush, all he did was make it more expensive for us to go to college. I think, though, that there are some things that are going to affect us in this election, namely the economy. I do think, though, that if you're Obama or Mitt Romney, you should tap into the young vote. Obama already has. But I also think, too, that we have to be motivated to get this generation jobs. Because we're not going to have Social Security. We're going to have to depend a lot on our savings, which is non-existent under these $1,200 a month student loans. And that is really something to consider. Now, the older generation really, I think, does not like us. They think we're lazy. They think we're entitled. You ever read about the entitlement generation? But you know, a lot of us aren't winners, and yes, a lot of us are realizing we're not as special as Mr. Rogers once said. But I also think, too, that this is the most politically empowered generation we've had in a long time. I think that's important. So, anyways, you know, I think a lot of us are kind of out of luck. I think, you know, that there are not going to be enough jobs for all the college graduates. But I hope this kind of makes you feel a little better about what I think. I think it's important to discuss it. I think it's important that you talk to your local congressman and vote accordingly. And I also think, too, that you have to keep acquiring skills. College is not a skill, I'm sorry. But you have to learn a skill. You know what I mean? You know, if you can learn how to be, if you're like me, you can learn how to fix a switch. You can make 40 or 50 bucks a week, you know, putting in switches. If you can go out and learn a GIS program, that is a skill. Microsoft Office is a skill. If you know how to work Photoshop, that is a tremendous skill. GIS stuff, you can find tons of jobs with GIS stuff. AutoCAD, Perl, C++, Visual Basic, those are all skills. I'm not going to bullshit you. But you have to remember, too, that things change. That job that might have made you $100,000 10 years ago may not longer exist nowadays. And as a college student, just because you are finished at school, you got your diploma, you're in the back of the unemployment line. Congratulations. Please go to the rear of the unemployment line behind the class of 2012 and 2011, 2010, 2009, and 2008. And another degree may not make the difference. A lot of people think environmental science is a stupid thing, but the reason why I'm in it is because we have a ton of Marcellus Shale people. And that's important, that you do something that's relevant. Science is something that's not very easy. And that's why I always suggest people go into it, rather than a liberal art. But if you want to think through things, and be very rhetorical about stuff, by all means go to college. Just don't take it that you're going to get a job. And by the way, don't bullshit on the internet, please, okay? My friends are meteorologists. They all make $30,000. They do a hell of a lot more than just what your average electrician does. And you know, it's very simple. I do think, though, that in my last closing remark, I will say, though, that the whole Penn State scandal really has opened the eyes of everybody. I urge you to read about CalU, California University of Pennsylvania, their new convocation center, if you want to see college waste and why the college bubble is going to burst, and it needs to burst. Read about their convocation center. It's in the Post-Gazette. It's from either the 10th or 11th of May. It was a couple days ago. Read about that. And you'll see that was all taxpayer dollars to build something for commencements. They can't even fill it. And that's a big thing because that's our tuition money. Even though I never went to CalU. So that's important. So, anyways, leave your comments. Hope everybody loved that. We're getting ever so close to 500 videos and 800,000 views. We're going to have a special blackout edition of the Red October Network in a collage of videos. So, enjoy it. Leave your comments and video responses. We'll see you later.